Welcome back to the Wanted Podcast. A terrible week for Dragon Ball fans, but it's been an amazing week for One Piece fans with Chapter 1095, where
Yeah.
we got to see fucking the Kuma backstory finally. Um, I mean, he kind of had to do it by this point, so it's good that we finally got it. Big revelations like Buccaneer race. Was definitely a Buccaneer, or at least of one. I think that's kind of a reason why it's being established, and we know he either had to be a giant or he used the fruit his power to turn into a giant, kind of like how Luffy can do, because of the giant straw hat, which is kind of shit. It's his, but overall good. We got Ivankov and Ginny, they're siblings. So Ivankov is Bonnie's uncle. Pretty cool, and we weren't really expecting anything like that. And the real question is, what's the deal with all this God Valley shit that we're seeing? We know based off of how the chapter ends that the next chapter will continue off and go into this backstory, which is good. I mean, we saw that Saturn was present. Rat-haired Garling was there, and he was killing people. He killed the king of God Valley. Want to give up the land. They were literally doing Hunger Games or some shit like that. They were hunting fucking people as their like ritual shit or whatever it fucking was. But we know Saturn was there. Garling was there. Kuma, fucking his whole family just wiped out. And we now know where it kind of is towards in this situation, because when we first saw the glimpse of the flashback, he's trying to run away and they're trying to bring him back to the slave land so that the rest of the people don't get killed. Because he's a buccaneer. He's half buccaneer. And the buccaneer are the people who committed whatever sin the fucking world government says they did. Most likely the buccaneers were one, Joy Boy's race, and or the race that helped out Joy Boy, the Void Century. So yeah, that's the chapter, and we get to see confirmed 100% that Kizaru fucking did not tank that hit from Luffy, bro. He said he couldn't get up. Chapter, he said he was seeing stars, and now he said he can't get up, bro. He got fucking rocked by Luffy, and I mean, we knew this shit was gonna happen, bro. Admiral fans stock is going down. Frankie stock is up. For real, confirmed, bro. Fucking clutched up. Luffy from Saturn. Sanji, bro. Shit. I think he bumped down to number 5. I think he bumped down to number 5. Bro, holy shit. He's fucking zipping. And then he takes that, what I'm assuming is some kind of Conqueror's hockey move from Saturn, bro. Is fucking... He got knocked the fuck out. And I think the whole point of what we're supposed to take away from Sanji Ono is that he's got the Germa gene, supposed to be extra durable. Now, of course, this could be like an internal kind of thing, bro. And we know that he was able to kind of freeze everyone in their tracks, but bro, Sanji, he's allegedly number 3. Some people want to say, I mean, it's kind of Jinbei is number 3 if we're being real. Sanji number 4. We kind of keep seeing the number 4 thing come up with Sanji, but I don't know, man. All I know is Sanji fucking rushed in, got knocked the fuck out, and Frankie clutched up. I mean, that's all I'm saying. So, you know, we got that fucking Saturn, bro. He says, really wanted to, he could have dodged Bonnie's attack, which makes sense. So I guess, you know, trying to say whether or not Bonnie making that attack proof of strength. Maybe there's something where he genuinely didn't give a shit about getting stabbed, or he gets some kind of buff from it.
Well, yes, because, you know, Bonnie's weak, bro. I don't think... I think they have history, though. I mean, there's something that that's important for Kuma. Maybe how he escaped, maybe why he gave himself to the world government. There's something about him that in turn is saving Bonnie. Maybe there's like a failsafe. Like if Bonnie dies, then all of the Kumas are going to be activated type shit.
Oh, so you're saying like there's a reason he didn't immediately kill her, kind of like how he was about to immediately kill Luffy?
Well, yeah. I mean, just look at. I mean, just look. She's like Akainu set her free for some reason, bro. She has ties to the world government for some reason. She's just been being saved. Like I think that.
I mean, it's definitely something with the whole fact that she's Kuma's daughter. Figure that out ourselves.
I think she's a failsafe or something, bro. Kuma gave his body to the world government for something. He has something about him that's just so strong, and that the world government needs. And just in case they like turned on him or something, Bonnie, like if they killed Bonnie, like all of the Kuma robots would shut down because he's using it for his own free will type shit.
Yeah, I think that's likely what it is. Because he just picks her up and kind of holds her. But Luffy, he just immediately wanted to kill. I mean, there's something there, because when he saw Luffy, first referred to him as Luffy, and he like separately referred to him as Nika. And we know that Gorosei had to be immortal. Because even, bro, if there's a 40-year flashback and this man looks exactly the fucking same, that just has enough evidence. Like, they've always looked the same when we've seen them, even in flashbacks.
Yeah, like in
and the biggest giveaway, when he went into his transformation, quote unquote transformation, not saying that it is a transformation, but he looked more aged. His face got all wrinkly. But I think that is his true form. Therefore, it's going to be the more aged one, because that's maybe what he was for a very long time, and then before he takes up the Gorosei mantle. I mean, it's just like a fucking disguise, right? That's not really how they look. I don't think they have devil fruits. If anything, we're going towards the direction of we're going to find out where these devil fruits like name from, because if you think about it, there's no real like meaning and reasoning behind it. Devil fruits, because of, I guess, the curse of not being able to swim, the ability you get from it. I mean, I might be wrong about that, but as far as I know, there's no like there's no answer why it's referred to as a devil fruit. So I'm guessing the more we learn about the Gorosei and just the history, we're gonna understand why. I think these guys have demonic powers. Laying it out, they're like, this is their real form. Humans from, as far as we know, could be millions of years from the past, just immortal. Most likely some type of major demon if they're working for her. You know, whether it's Umibozu, which the reason I guess I'd say it probably isn't, is that there's other yokai that could make more sense. I'm pretty sure there's one that's like Nure Ona, something like that. Something that sounds like Nerona, right? That is more like a serpent kind of yokai, which I think it is, bro. Is Eames probably some type of world serpent thing?
I think so,
I'd imagine. I think the eyes is a good giveaway. Like the reason we're shown specifically Eames' eye color must be a very important thing than just only seeing Eam from behind. Once in a while seeing the eye color, but Eam is identified as of right now based off of the eye color and the black silhouette. So my guess, Eam is some type of, you want to say, Lucifer character or something else. Just a very powerful demonic entity. Literally is powerful enough to over these also very powerful demonic creatures that probably existed for millions of years, like I already said, running society and the world in the background. We know that they were there before a world government was established. They had to have been. Whether they were just part of the many families of, what was it, the 20 kingdoms, I think. Whatever it is, they have some major importance and some type of demonic. One thing I've been seeing brought up a lot is that it's not like we haven't been shown that satanic practices exist in the One Piece world. Like, remember when Brook got sent during 32Y, right? Mm-hmm. He was sent to a cult of Satanists. They said they worshiped Satan and they were trying to summon a demon. They got Brook instead. But that just shows, like, Satan exists in the One Piece world. Therefore, God and Jesus exist in the One Piece world. Also explaining Mihawk's crucifix necklace. We talked about last episode. But just in general, right? This is a story of light versus dark, so it's not surprising that we're seeing themes like this. Anything, that wouldn't make it impossible for there to be demons that just exist as demons. Or not, you want to say that they themselves created the devil fruits? They could just be calling it that to steer people away from them, for one.
The best way that evil or Satan rallies up the people is to pretend that he's good, God. And what are they doing? They establish the world government that people, that they want their perspective to be good. And that's why they have pirates, the warlord system, to do their dirty work. Because they don't want stuff like that tagged to their name. They want to serve justice and all this. They make the pirates seem like these villains, so that then when they commit these atrocities, sort of like the U.S., how they make the other allied, well, not allied nations, the nations that don't ally with them, like Russia, China, and all this other stuff, they make them seem like the bad guys. And in reality, it's us.
Right, literally. And, seeing how it's been right in front of us this whole time. When the Gorosei were introduced, the chapter where we see them pentagrams on like the little chandelier things in the background, there's a lot of black in that chapter. It's kind of a dark color. So it's like, and I'm pretty sure the chapter was titled like the most powerful in the world or some shit like that, right? Stuff like that. It's been in our face this whole time. We knew that they had to have some type of crazy power. I know a lot of people wanted to believe that they were just weak old men. Could have made sense, like they just had power, because that's kind of how it is in our world, right? It's just a bunch of weak old dudes, right? You get them in a fucking room with any like half decent human being, they're not gonna make it out of there. Oh, yeah. But make like for Eam an antichrist role, if it's straight up Satan, whatever it is with Eam, having these like warriors under you who fight for you until you feel the need to come out and do it yourself makes sense. They'd have to be strong. They gotta also protect Eam. At the end of the day, they're the last line of defense before Eam. To be strong, I think it was very stupid to say that they were just gonna be weak old men. One Piece world, and this is anime, like it's gonna be strong ass old man, bro.
Yeah, old ass niggas in anime and just always OP as fuck for some reason, bro.
I just genuinely don't think what people were expecting. Like it makes sense.
It makes sense that old people would just be strong in anime for some reason.
But I think that one of the biggest pieces of evidence for them, besides the aging when he switched into that form, and he was talking down to Bonnie, and he said that there was one translation where he says, why do humans do the exact opposite of what they're told to? There's another one where he says it's human nature to defy the rules or whatever, or defy what they're told. Of like what he said, obviously when saying human nature, he could be talking about self included. But when the first translation came out, and he said, "Why do humans?" as if he's talking about something different from himself. Okay, there you go. Because I mean, just being immortal usually isn't considered like a very human trait when it happens to people. They become like a different status of human when you gain immortality.
Yeah, so when you're not immortal, I think you're sentient. But because you have that aspect of I'm going to die one day. But when you're like, a god, you're basically like immortal. You can't die through the test of time. Now there might be other ways you could die, but
so what it could also be, if anything, perhaps at one point they were actual people, and maybe their human forms are just the ages that they were at the time Eam came around and was like basically saying, you're gonna work under me, give you these powers, and maybe this is like the start of the devil fruits. It's spawning in, so that's just, it could be anything at that point.
They probably got the immortal perpetual youth surgery, which seems played out, everybody says that. It would make sense why one of them is so young, because they probably had it. They probably lost the fruit or something through the test of time. And like in a last-ditch effort, they found it again. And then cured it and gave it to the other people. It just doesn't make sense why one of them is so young and the other people are just old-ass men. That dude looks no more than like 30, bro. Looks like your average, just older One Piece dude.
It's just one of those things where we're just gonna have to find out. If it's like fruit related or something that happened to them. It could easily be that they sold their soul, and they gained immortality and strong powers as these yokai creatures, these demons. It could really be anything.
That could actually be it.
I mean, it would make sense, something like that, if we want to go down the route of they were given these powers rather than they just are these things. The only thing that contradicts that is if it's true when he says about human nature and humans doing things. That would then have to mean that he a human, but still saying that. Unless, he's just an evil-ass dude just saying it. I mean, I'm not saying, like, you can't say, it's just human nature to defy order. I say that, it doesn't necessarily imply that I'm not human. But I think it's just one of those things when Oda's writing this, you're supposed to kind of look out for key things like that.
Yeah. Like, specifically how he's never mentioned their age. But whenever he's shown them, even in free time skip, they always look the same. Whenever he's shown them in flashbacks, like, we've only seen them twice in flashbacks. The first time was Robin, which is 30 years ago? But you can be like, people in One Piece age slower. But this one was 49 years ago, bro.
Bro, seeing Garling is like a fucking... He looks like Shanks in the flashback, and now he's just an old-ass... He might not be like an old dude. If it's... I mean, it was 40 years ago. He's probably not like super old. He's grown all of his hair out by that point.
You gotta remember, too, Shanks himself is about 40 years old. People in One Piece typically have kids around 40 because they have longer lifespans, bro. Roger, his son Ace, before he died, then it was like 50 years, So it's like, it would make sense that it could be his dad, or could be a distant relative, maybe his cousin.
I mean, it might not be his dad, bro. I think we're kind of being led down to believe that it is, and it could be as simple as, that's just Shanks' father. That's why he looks like Shanks. But it could be like an uncle. It might not be, unless you want to go ahead and say that Rox is a figurine. You know, maybe
But his
Zebek
name
isn't
is
just a
Rock
name he picked
D.
up.
Zebek. The thing
Yeah,
about
that
that
his
is
name would have to be
names.
Figureland D. Zebek, if that was his
Yeah,
true
like,
name. Unless, I mean, but Rocks could also be like a nickname, like a last name that he made up. You never know. That's the thing about One Piece.
the thing
Like,
about One Piece is that names mean bro to people, bro. You know, that's why
yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, I want my name to reach the heavens. I want everybody to know my name." You know, so and that, especially if he wants to take over the world, I'm sure he would be proud of his figureless name and that he's actually going against it.
But I think we're on the topic of figurelings and stuff. So, you know, and then we've seen God Valley and what's going on there because they killed the king. We gotta figure out why is it that Roger teamed up with to fight Rocks at God Valley. Like, there's something that they were fighting about. It wasn't just a fight or a battle. There was something that someone was trying to establish or didn't agree with, so they fought over it. Whether that's something like slavery versus freedom, because if he's a Figureland, he would, you know, believe in slavery being a thing. Obviously, have your opinions. Like Shanks, I'm sure probably doesn't like slave. I mean, yeah, that he's fucking unpredictable and this is a fucking rat. But
the thing is, though, Shanks knows that he is a figureland. He knows that he's a figureland. It's not that he just raised thinking that he's not, because he remember the sake that he brought, the sake that he from the West Blue. He said, "Yeah, I got it from my hometown, Scott Valley." And Whitebeard was like, "Yeah, this is sake from the West Blue, but you're pretty cheap." And God Valley is in the West Blue, so he knows where he's from. He knows who he is.
I mean, obviously, I mean, he can go talk to the Gorosei anytime he wants. So, I mean, he got to be a Figureland to be able to do that. So maybe there's a role, there's like a greater role he's playing, rather than just this dude that just fucking killed some guy. Because I mean, he's obviously working for the world government. I mean, he's gonna do what he's told. I mean, he seems like a piece of shit when he just killed the king and was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna handicap myself because I killed someone but the game started." I mean, he's most likely a piece of shit, still. But we also don't really know if Shanks really is a good guy. I mean, like we've said, villain by omission. Just at the end, he's gonna have to face off against Luffy because, bro, Shanks' crew is not just gonna give up the One Piece to Luffy, right? I think Shanks knows, okay, Luffy's getting pretty close to the One Piece. Whether it is he knows Luffy will be the one to unlock the One Piece, and he's just waiting for him to do it before he swoops in and wipes out the Straw Hats, maybe, right? Because it's interesting that he decides to claim it right after Luffy takes out the other two Luffy doesn't take out the two Yonkos, but beats Kaido. Big Mom is now he's the new Yonko.
Yeah.
So, you know, it could be anything, bro.
Yeah, it could be anything, though. Can you hear me?
But yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
What is it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, just seeing this, like, we know connection because they look exactly the same. How did Shanks end up on Roger's crew? Figureland is his father. Did he give him to Roger?
We've seen, like, it's been confirmed that Shanks was found on God
Yeah,
Valley.
he was found, but if anything, he could have been put into position to be found. Whether it was like, and I'm just trying to think, how could he have ended up? Whether or not, like, they found him, they looted Rox's ship.
I think it was more so everybody was fighting. Shanks probably looked for a hiding place, but he is a baby, so he probably just wandered off, walked into a treasure chest, somehow got found by Roger, and the rest is history, bro. That he just grew up a good way instead of, like, I could see, like, the Figurelands retreating, them leaving Shanks by accident. And then they grew up to see that Shanks has become a pirate.
I guess at what stage of his life did he realize that he was a Figureland, or did they, like, come find him and kind of
Now that
It must have did something, cause like we know, I'm assuming we know that Roger. I mean, he followed the way of Joy Boy. He didn't like things like slavery and oppression. So you would assume that Shanks would feel the same way. So why would he kind of openly be working with the? I'm not saying he is working with the world government, but he's clearly on of neutral or friendly terms with them. Regardless of who he is, you would think he'd still be on the side of like Roger and be like, okay, these people are terrible. I'm not gonna associate myself with them whatsoever, or I'm not gonna use my family ties in any way. I don't know how Shanks truly feels, however, just one of those things.
it really is.
So questions on what Shanks's intentions are. That's just endgame shit. We're gonna have to find out.
I'm not even sure, bro. I mean, he is a pirate. You know, if he was actively against Luffy, he wouldn't be a pirate. If he was actively against pirates, he wouldn't be one. He has his own crew.
Exactly.
There's just something about him that runs deeper than just being a pirate. That runs deeper than just him being a member of an elite family, you know.
There has to be. There's just something. There's just something wrong. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Because, okay, we know for one that he gets the Gum Gum Fruit from raiding Who's ship. Are we gonna assume that this was just by chance? They saw a world government ship. Maybe the world government was chasing them and they looted the ship, took the fruit. Someone like Shanks, if at that time he was aware of his Figureland status, would probably also be someone who knows about the Gum Gum Fruit and its true nature. But then there's stuff like when Luffy eats it, he kind of like doesn't really give a shit after like 10 seconds. He's like, "Oh, you just ate the Gum Gum Fruit." Only reason I don't believe like the whole he knew theory and like he intentionally let Luffy eat it. He didn't fucking intentionally let him eat it. There's no way that was intentional. Left it out. Probably not a good idea. But I don't think he was like, okay, I'm gonna leave it out and then Luffy's gonna eat it just cause. No. I doubt he could see that far ahead and plan that out. He had to have known something about it. Like, there's no way he somehow came across a world government ship. The rarest devil fruit in the most sought after by the world government devil fruit. And just casually just fucking... I mean, it's Shanks, yeah. Just raided the ship, took out who's who. You know, who's who goes to like prison for years because he loses the fruit. I had to have known something was important. And I'm sure we're going to get the full flashback. Because even then, we've only seen like glimpses of it. Through who's story. You know, Shanks' stuff. Seen glimpses.
You know, honestly, though, I think Shanks is just. I think he knows, bro. I think he knows about the boy's entry. And he bet. That's why he bet his farm for the new era. It's like,
Unless you want to say he bet his arm. This little kid was gonna go get the One Piece for him, and then he was just gonna swoop in and take that shit, whatever it is, bro. Something. He's up to something, bro. He's just suspicious as shit.
he is suspicious, bro.
Because he really is just very mysterious. We really don't know Shanks. We know that he gives a shit about his crew, and we know that he's strong. We know that he must be a pretty good guy. A lot of people in the world tend to like him. But then again, we knew a lot of people liked Garling. Well, a lot of celestial dragons. We don't know if like common folk liked Garling. That's like a connection I am pretty sure we're supposed to be making.
Oh man, this is crazy territory to get into. I don't know what. We really don't know much. Like, truly.
We don't know. Because he barely has any fucking screen time, and that's not even the issue. It's just more so we do know about him is still very limited. We don't even technically know his full name, and we know full names are a big deal in Peace World.
Yeah.
Just knowing the one name.
But the Figureland name was mentioned in One Piece Film Red, though.
Was it?
Yeah, that's when we first heard about it. After Film Red, it was like we heard. That's where we came up with the name Figureland. That's where everybody was talking about. Is it?
I have to rewatch that. I missed it. I know we got his little flashback to Bound when he was looking at Uda in the treasure chest, but I must have missed that. Then again, you're not really looking. That Figureland name didn't really become a thing until like late 2022. It was before. I'm really trying to think.
I don't think it was in Film Red. I think it was in one of Oda's things that he had on it, like after Film Red. It was like a little comic strip where he would talk.
Or was it like the? No, I'm trying to think. Wasn't there an additional book that released along like a little guide, and that's what confirmed Roger found Shanks at God Valley? Shanks and Buggy, actually. Which that's interesting too. And Buggy were found on God Valley. Pretty sure, right? I think so. Let me actually look it up. Let me make sure. I don't want to just say shit, pull it out of my ass. I want to actually make sure I'm right. Pretty sure they found both of them. Buggy's a Figureland, bro. That'd be fucking funny. Because we still haven't seen the color of the hair, and if the color of the hair is blue, yeah, Figureland Buggy, bro.
Oh, is the Figureland's hair blue?
I mean, we don't know. That's the thing. We don't have his hair color.
The thing is, I don't think that Figureland's hair is red, bro. I think it's actually blonde. As you see the
it could be blonde, or it could be like a kind of blue, because we know that he's got like a moon-shaped hair. So if it was blue, that's not entirely impossible.
You see how Shanks' hair is colored in the manga? It's darker. It's actually a shade of red. When people have typically lighter hair, like blonde or white, they don't
get colored in
hair. Yeah, and the thing is, people can say like, "Oh, well, that's old Figureland," but young Figureland had.
The only real excuse you could do is like saying Oda doesn't want to spoil it by having like a confirmed hair color. But still, it doesn't really matter because it can be a dark shaded, panel with his hair. But that doesn't mean it's red. It's not that much to get. All it would tell us is that it's some deep color.
People aren't thinking that. Yes, it's red hair Shanks. He's known for his red hair. But I don't think the average manga reader would put that 2 and 2 together. Like, oh, well, this guy's hair is... And we just know that because it's just like...
Shit, dude. Really trying to think. I don't know if it was confirmed that Buggy is from God Valley, or he was found there as well, or like an assumed thing. I'm pretty sure Buggy and Shanks are like the same age, so it makes sense. But Buggy's probably related to someone, bro. Whether you want to say it's Rocks or you want to say it's the Figureland family. I haven't seen people say like maybe Buggy was a celestial dragon and Shanks was like a slave.
No, Shanks is obviously a Figureland. I think but if Buggy was found on God Valley, I think he might be Zebek's son, bro. I mean, just to give Buggy some more layer. And hold on, Whitebeard also said, if you can hear me, Whitebeard also said when he was sharing that sake with Shanks, it was like, when I see your face, reminds me of that bastard that gave me the star on my chest, referring to somebody that either looks like Shanks or is related to Shanks. Gave him that scar on his chest, which is sword cuts. So it might actually be from the Garland.
It probably is Figureland. I mean, that makes the most sense. And even just the name Figureland sounds like it's probably Shanks' last name. Shanks, Figureland, Shanks. I'm sure that'll be like a fucking panel. It might, yeah, it might not be Shanks. That could just be the name that Roger gave him. It could be like a fucking Saiyan situation where they've got an actual name. Fucking not like Goku, bro. He could just, it could be like,
I mean, bro,
some very like celestial dragon ass name, bro.
It's not like Roger found him and they was like, his name is Shanks, take good care of him. He found him as a fucking baby and thing. He was like, well, I guess name him Shanks. Fuck it.
I mean, Shanks is it sounds like a pirate kind of name, like in like a nickname you'd be given. It never really sounded like an actual name. I mean, we just kind of assumed because it's One Piece, and that even makes Buggy's name makes more sense too at that point. And that's probably also why Buggy doesn't have a known last name. Shanks probably didn't have a known last name at that time either. And we're supposed to assume that they don't have one, right? I'm just trying to think. It could have been like post Roger's execution. Shanks just trying to, he's on his own. Him and Buggy are still doing shit, but he's pretty much on his own. And he probably sets out to sea, and something happens where he figures out his true history. Or maybe Roger told him. Like, we don't really know. He could have been, oh yeah, we found you here, so you might be related to these people, or whatever. I doubt that. Roger might not even know as well.
They probably are going to boycott whatever Roger told them and make it a longer scene that he whispered in his ear.
Yeah, there's some shit that is gonna have to get confirmed, bro. Like, we're gonna get Shanks' full name. We know that has to happen regardless. So, I'm really just trying to fucking think. Because that's some serious shit. Like, just the fact that we now know Figureland when he was young looked like Shanks just opens up so many doors. Knowing Oda, I would not be surprised, to be honest. It's like in a panel of Buggy, and it's like Garling Buggy or some shit like that, or Garling, whatever his fucking real name is. I wouldn't be surprised. I
don't think he's a Figureland, bro.
So, with Shanks being a Figureland, I mean, obviously, he's a celestial dragon. And we know that the celestial dragons are regarded as the race of the world. Corsair celestial dragons. You just have the regular Tenryubito. Yobito. I think I'm saying that right. But just the celestials that we see wear the fucking spacesuits, which the whole spacesuits thing, they could be from the moon, like a lot of people say. Maybe. We don't really know. But what we can take away is that they are a highly regarded race in this world. There are also races that are considered to be who've committed grave sins against the world. Races are likely all the ones that Eam has hunted down, like the Buccaneers. Like I said before, Joy Boy is probably something to do with the Buccaneers. Maybe they helped him. Maybe he is a Buccaneer. So they get hunted down because they didn't side with Eam during whatever conflict happened in the Void Century. And the Celestial Dragons were probably just the race that either Eam was from or supported Eam in the endeavors, which the elite supporting a satanic figure isn't exactly an unknown concept. If we were to say the Celestial Dragons were already very high status, just received a higher one for supporting Eam. And then it's just a passed down thing, right? Just years and years, Eam gives these people they want because that race helped Eam,
I think, bro. I think, The people that helped her, there's obviously still basic ass humans, right? You can't eradicate all those people because majority of the One Piece world is human. You know, that's where a lot of the races stem from. They all have human characteristics. But I think it was a certain select few of humans, a certain clan of humans, a certain family of humans that followed him, that they maintained that bloodline between each other, which, you know, they get special treatment. They're at the top of the world. But I think a reason why we don't see as many celestial dragons is one, because we haven't seen that much of the Holy Land of Marijuana, and two is because I think that they're all just dying out slowly. You know, with inbreeding comes, you know, childs that don't come out normally. And I just think that their clan is just sort of simmering and simmering down as the years go by. That's why we, when we see celestial dragons, we only really see like what, five?
That is true. They could be slowly running out of celestial dragons.
Mhm.
I mean, that could just be like at a culmination of things, like kind of signaling the end of this era because the celestial dragons are about to die out.
Yeah, I mean,
And there is
I
no
can
top
picture
race.
the Holy Land of Mary Joie being this crazy, awesome, beautiful place. And, you know, the Admirals are here to obviously protect them. They're here to protect their race. I wonder why. Because if, you know, the people stand up to that select few of people, their whole empire is going to crumble down. Even just basic humans, if they climb those walls and have a war, without the admirals, I mean, without their line of defenses, it's like, you know, that clan would be wiped out. Now they have the
Oh yeah,
admiral.
when it comes time for the raid on Marijois, the celestial dragons are getting taken the fuck out. They're gonna go for the Gorosei. I mean, maybe they won't kill them, but at the very least, they're gonna kick them down. They're gonna get rid of them. They're taking them out of Marijois. Luffy's not the type to kill people. He might still not kill a celestial dragon, but we know he will fucking shit out of them. But I mean, what's probably gonna happen is they will die on the raid because they're gonna, they're still slave owners, bro. They fucking, they allow this shit to continue because we know, slavery's been outlawed except for the celestial dragons, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
typically bad people. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, yes, that's how they were raised, but I'm sure they know what they're doing is wrong.
there's like the one celestial dragon. It's like a good guy. Got who it was. He might have been executed or something like that. He was in the story. I forgot his name, but
Corazon?
not Corazon. Trying to remember. No, it's an actual he looks like Charlos, but he's like a good guy. He's just a regular celestial. I remember his name, but regardless, even with with Doflamingo's family, the leaving the celestial dragons, that's considered a grave sin, most likely because doesn't keep it in the bloodline, and then they kind of the family that supported Eam, therefore they don't support Eam type of shit. Got taken out quickly, but that was just because the people had this general idea of celestial dragons, and they just murdered him.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But
Fucking Doflamingo killed his ass because he gave up them riches, bro, and then handled that shit, capped him.
damn, bro. And that's one thing. Going into the Holy Land of Mary Joie, you know, there really needs to be, there really is a reason why Shanks, a pirate, is able to just walk in all willy nilly. Yeah, he had a cloak on, but I mean, I'm sure there's defenses like when you walk in, it's like, hey, who the fuck are you? You know? That's why Sabo had to sneak in, because if that was the case, he could have just walked in with robes too.
Yep.
I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know what he is. They know who he is. But the thing is, like, at first I was leaning towards him being a Zebek. You know, they found him on God Valley. That's where Zebek was last found. It made sense at the time. But now that we sort of just keep getting into the story, we see that the elders, the not yeah, like the Gorosei, the celestial dragons were on God Valley. They were there. And I think that this flashback is going to basically, I think we're getting the Rocks flashback, like the Rocks Dieselback flashback soon, bro. Like pretty soon.
Honestly, Shanks could be even more important than we truly believe. What if we're fighting over Shanks, bro? This child of a... Maybe he has a greater purpose. I mean, I don't know. That's a little, a bit of a stretch to say that's the reason why Roger Pirates were fighting the Rocks Pirates teamed up with the Navy. Like, maybe they weren't, like, specifically fighting for him, but there was something that Rocks was guarding he at least felt was very important. And then when because when they pick up the chest and see it's Shanks, they look confused. And then they just see him in that, but we don't know.
I think Rocks, sort of like how Luffy was born on Fusha Village. I think that was probably his village, his because God Valley is just a random ass. The reason why they're even there to begin with is because they just wanted to take it over. They wanted to kill the people there just for fun. Have a slave war, import slaves, because that island has the name of gods type shit, and they were like, we want to pillage this island because they're mocking God. They're mocking God. They think that they're gods. I think this is the reason that it can tie into Rocks Dieselback, because Rocks can probably, hear what's happening here on the news and come and interfere with his crew. And that's how this war against the Celestial Dragons and Rocks Dieselback happens. He finds out that they're all there, right next to him in his hometown. He's like, yo, what the fuck? Pulls up, has a whole battle, and everybody's getting called. And Garp is like, yo, we need to take him down, bro. He's a big threat to the world. Like, obviously, young Roger at the time, because this was before he found the One Piece. This was like before this was like years before we've seen him. And probably he was like Luffy's age at this time. This was years before we've seen him in the...
Maybe not, because if he found Shanks at God Valley, then... And even in the little flashback during Film Red, when you see, like, his point of view as a baby, Roger has, like, the mustache and everything. The younger Roger. But... Trying to, like, timeline-wise... when this occurred. You also got to remember. Okay, so the current flashback we saw, 38 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was like 30 or it was like 28 years ago. I'm pretty sure it's 38. But and if Ivankov is a child, well, presumably a child, Kuma's a child. We'd have to assume someone like Dragon also is. They were children from that era.
Yeah.
Or probably No, it was probably a teenager.
Okay, so let's say this. Maybe this God Valley this is basically establishing how God Valley became a marine base, a married, like sort of like a marriage joie.
Yeah, we know that this is when they take over and claim it as property of the world government.
Yeah, that's like we're seeing this right now. Now in the future, we're gonna hear about Rocks Dieselback, and then something significant is going to happen at God Valley. I think this is maybe 5-8 years before the God Valley incident. Like, around this time, Roger would be chronologically meeting Rayleigh, I think. Him getting established as a pirate. I mean, if you look at it, Luffy became a Yonko in what, 3 years?
Yeah, Shanks was a baby. So this was 40. God Valley is 40 years ago. Okay, so you know it does add up actually. Yeah, no, it adds up. If Shanks is about 40, but the only thing that doesn't Shanks is what he's 39. Let's
It
think
may add
like
up.
right now. So what the Great Pirate Era started 22 years ago,
Yeah, pretty sure.
but Shanks was how old during the execution of Roger? Wasn't he like
I
15?
think it was like 15 or 10 or something.
So that would mean it would have to be 15 years after the God Valley incident. So God Valley was probably 35 years ago. But then like the ages wouldn't match up with Shanks. Is the only thing. I don't think God Valley is going to be during this flashback, or I mean, this is most likely just setting up why the world government's here and why this is an important place. I'm trying to think timeline wise, like God Valley was probably a little bit closer. There's current One Piece 2 years, because including the time skip, so 22 years ago was the execution of Roger. So Shanks would have then been 17, which kind of makes sense. He was like Luffy's age when it happens, which means then that God Valley was 39 years ago. It adds up. Yeah, no, it adds up. Flashback for God Valley was like 38 or 39. It adds up. Okay. So we could see the God Valley incident during this time.
Yeah, because Shanks post time skip is 39 years old.
Yeah.
Pre time skip he's 37. Gold Roger died at 53.
53. So during God Valley, he would have been 6. I guess, yeah, it lines up. Math. First time I'm doing math since graduating high school. Yeah, no, it adds up. Okay. Yeah, okay, so and Shanks, this is 17 years before Roger gets executed, which that can make sense.
Hold on. Your mic is robotic.
Oh, how about now?
Speaker settings.
Testing 101.
A little bit better.
Let me make sure it's plugged in. How about now?
Testing. Say testing.
Testing.
Yeah, a little bit better. There we go.
Okay. Like I was saying, the math adds up. Roger would have been about 36. Considering Shanks, just assuming Shanks is like a newborn, which I don't think he was. I think he was like, they said he was like 2 or something. Yeah, some of the books, but even if that is the case, you can still make the math add up. All that means is that Shanks was 15 at Roger's execution, which how he looks, it still makes sense.
Mihawk looked about 15.
The only thing is that if he's 39 now and 22 years ago was the execution of Roger, he would have to be 17. Is the only thing. It's just I
think he might be a bit older than Mihawk. They're around the same age. I think Mihawk is either older.
Oh, okay. Wait. What's this? 24 years ago, the Great Pirate Era. But is that including time skip? So, okay, if Shanks is 39...
26.
Yeah, but like I looked it up and it said 24, but it doesn't say if that includes already the time skip time. Let's just assume it does. 24 years. He's 15. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There it is. If it was 24 years ago, was the execution of Roger. 15 years ago, from that point, right? So a total of 39 years ago adds up. God Valley. It's so the math still can make sense, no, regardless of how you look at it.
This flashback was 39 years ago. Because if that's the case, then like I said, this might be the point.
Yeah, it could. This could be God Valley. This could be the slaves get liberated. That could be what they're fighting over. Like I think we said earlier.
That might be it.
It explains how Kuma can somehow get out.
It's just that it's
we know
such a
Ivankov
perfect...
gets out.
Yeah, it's just that it's such a perfect setting to have it, bro. All of like the Gorosei are there. Eam is probably there somewhere. Probably not. I mean, if all of the Gorosei, maybe one of them is there, like Saturn. That's all we need. We have
it
one
is a
Gorosei.
really good setting.
The Fig Garland people are there. Slaves are there. Ivankov and potentially Bonnie's mom. And Kuma is there. We need to see what's happening, bro. And this could potential. I can see at the end of this flashback, Rox Dizabek's ship. Even just his Jolly Roger arriving. Just to be like, yeah.
Oh shit, bro. Honestly,
this is where the God Valley incident happened. And then maybe we're gonna have cuts, or we're just gonna wait until we learn more about Blackbeard, and they're gonna be like flashback to the God Valley. This is what
we know. Okay, let's also take in. Let's see, Garp's age. Was time skip?
Garp is pretty old. He was a bit older than Roger, I think. Garp in anime time is like what?
So he's 78 right now.
Yeah, and Roger died at 55.
So 39 years ago, he would have been 39. 3 years older than Roger. He would have been 39 years old during God Valley, and that's how old he looks. And let me see if maybe we can actually get how old was Garp during God Valley. I don't know if there's an actual answer to that, but like the way he looks is kind of how like a 40-year-old looks in One Piece. He just still looked young.
And he was the hero, bro. And the thing is, right?
There we go, bro. 2019, someone did the math and said he would be 39. Holy shit, we might be right, bro.
This might be the introduction of the God Valley incident right in front of our faces, bro. Because I mean, it would make sense.
I think it's kind of like a bait, like it's Kuma's backstory, and then we're gonna slowly see as it turns into. Well, okay, here's the thing. We don't know if this is his backstory, or if this is potentially. Yeah, but what I'm saying is this just what Bonnie saw of Kuma's memories? Maybe we won't actually see it. Kuma does see Rox's ship, and then that's where it ends.
But I mean, we're gonna have to see how he got freed. Obviously, well, then the Marines aren't just gonna let them free. I think what happened is Rox set them free. They had this whole battle. Whitebeard, Kaido, everybody arrived there, freed the slaves. That's why Kaido, that's why everybody had such respect for Rox. He's a good guy, Jim. Freed the slaves, took over that land. Right, his crew was just too powerful. Right, all the slaves are gone. Now it's just a narrative that Rox is attacking the Marine. And that's when they send...
Probably was a really good guy, dude. Makes sense. Right, the government hates him.
And they send Garp, they send Goku, and they send Roger. And, that all three of them are just like...
I mean, it's just, why would if did something that was a good act, like an act of just human kindness, and this is what starts it all, like, because so I already assume he did something against the world government if Garp is fighting him. right?
I think
Our
what
Navy,
it is,
world government. So why would they be fighting him is the question.
I think what it is Rox is a good guy, sort of, maybe a good guy in his with his ideals. Like, sort of, he has good ideals but bad intentions. Sort of like a Madara, if you will, where it's like, oh shit, he wants to free the world, but he's doing it in a way that's like, he has good intentions for the world, but he's doing it in a way that's morally wrong. That could be the case when it comes to Roxy Effect, which would make it more viable for a good person like Roger to step in and be like, we got to take this guy down because his plans for the future is just, he's no better than the world government.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see something. It does from again, we still don't really know how this goes. I don't think Dragon will be there. I think that maybe at a later point. Let's just say the memories for God Valley kind of cut off, or they get freed. Whether we actually see Rox free him, or we just again see a silhouette free Kuma and all the slaves. I think what might happen is we'll jump cut to maybe he joins the Revolutionary Army. We might not really see what goes down at God Valley. We'll just see, okay, he gets freed, he gets away, boom. Now look at what he did to join the Revolutionary Army. But like, it's just gonna be a signal, like, hey, by the way, he got freed, but God Valley incident is about to happen. But we're just not gonna get to see it right now.
Yeah, I think that could be the case.
I think that's one of the most viable things to think of, because you got to remember, this is his memories from his point of view. So if he didn't really watch the fight, how could he have known that it was happening? So he gets freed. They immediately escape. They get away. That's that. He goes on to presumably marry Ginny. They get older. All that shit happens. But the point is that we're gonna at least get some kind of hint that God Valley happens around the time he gets freed. It's away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's the big takeaway here. God Valley incident's about to happen. Say are all fucking demons that already existed prior for hundreds of years. This shit is coming together. We're putting the pieces together for God Valley slowly. We now know that it was taken by the government forcefully. It was just a random island. No real significance. Just pulled up, killed like Garling just pulls up. They tell the king that they want the island, for their hunting. He refuses, obviously. They kill him. They take the island. Right? This is just random fucking island. Really have any meaning. Like, yeah, it's called God Valley, but what makes it important is what's about to happen there.
Yeah, and at the end, we don't even see rocks, right? We see, like, at the beginning of the island, all the ships and all the marine ships are being destroyed. There's a huge explosion knocking everybody out the way, and then they use that as their chance to escape. Like, yo, we gotta go. And then as they're running, they turn around and they see the Jolly Roger of Rocks needs a back. And then that's the end of that. That's the end of the flashback.
Yeah, something like they're gonna see something that points to Rocks somehow. Okay, they're not really in chains. They're just kind of stuck there as they can't escape. But if Rocks pulls up and just disrupts everything, they'll have a chance to escape. They can get off. They can find a boat, whatever it is. I can't tell. I thought they were like in a field somewhere. Kind of so we don't really get the official translation. I can't just pull out Shonen, but let's actually just pull up the chapter. Look, because I thought they were outside, but then again, you can't really tell when it's a drawing. So let's just look at the TCB scan. It's usually my go-to. 1,095. Because, yeah, it really is all in the visuals. Easily miss it. And that will kind of give us an idea of where they're at and assume what can happen from that point. So, flashback. It looks like they're outside. Ivankov standing on like a rocky cliff. Chains, but they're outside. Yeah, okay, yep. They're outside. There are people though that are in cages, however. A lot of slaves that are already in cages. But I mean, the only thing that kind of throws it off is that the flashback says that the God Valley stuff is 38 years ago. But I mean, if we that's just a 1 year difference. I feel like that could easily just maybe we're just off by 1 on the math. But still, 39, 38, not too big of a difference for it to be pretty soon. Unless we want to say that they're here for like a year. And oh, actually no. 38 years, it's less than 39. Okay, well, I mean, it just depends. Because that would mean that it happened a year before, but we know that's not the case. So maybe the math, like I said, just off. But they are outside. They're probably going to get away and see something.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's the perfect time to be like, yo, this is God Valley incident.
There you go. But I think that's it. I think we covered everything that we can cover out of this chapter. Looking it to fucking death. But yeah. That's all I've really got to say about 1095. A lot of shit to unpack from it, but that's it.
That was a good review.
Definitely real solid. Oh.
Especially, bro, like we might actually see the Rocks. He's a backflash. Like we might not see him. We might actually get a face this chapter.
Either face, or we'll just see either a Jolly Roger or a silhouette again with his smile and his iconic little hair, little crazy hair style. So we're gonna see something where we're gonna recognize who it is. Maybe it is Roger. You know, we don't know, but we're gonna see someone. I think at the end of this arc is shrouded in mystery.
I think it's Rocks.
But yeah, it's probably Rocks.
Makes the most sense narratively. It's the perfect time to introduce him with all this. Because the thing is, it needs to be introduced soon. They missed out their opportunity on introducing him with Kaido. So the only way to do that now is to probably Kuma's memories. You know, Kuma probably doesn't really know much of Rocks. He knows of Rocks, but we're probably gonna finally see a face soon, bro.
I think we will. It's just a matter of time. These next few chapters, we might.
Mm-hmm. I just hope he does. He isn't odified, you know.
I mean, let's be real, bro. I mean, he looks like he's supposed to be very menacing. You know, with the glowing red eyes and his silhouette. But then again, that could just be an Oda where it's like, oh yeah, he's actually not a piece of shit, and he's actually a pretty good guy. Actually, is pretty goofy.
Yeah, like I don't know, bro.
He probably has a very good laugh.
I think
kind of like Luffy.
I think he'll be more of a sort of decent, sort of half decent Blackbeard. He does things for good, but in his own way.
Something like that, yeah.
Where it's like his ideals are good, but the way he does things is like on the side of like sort of like a mercenary. Like he could be a good guy.
What is it like? What was the set? Like chaotic good?
Yeah, like he's like, I need to eliminate. I need to kill this race of people that are enslaving people. All of them. Although some of them haven't done it, a large majority are to save people. Sort of like that. He's just making I think he'd be a guy that makes necessary sacrifices.
I mean, I guess Roger and Garp teaming up, have them not just kill people makes sense. Because I don't think Roger has ever killed anyone on screen. It seemed like the kind of guy who would. You know, other than probably like the very necessary ones. But when, like, if we're supposed to draw the correlation between between Roger and Luffy doesn't really kill anybody. Know if Kaido's dead. Saying like, it's a One Piece world. I'm sure lava might not take him out, even though it realistically should. But he didn't intend to kill Kaido at the very least. But I don't know. That could be it. Yeah, maybe Rocks just is like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking kill these people, get it out of the way, like solve it if we just kill them. And they're like, hey, no, you shouldn't do that. Maybe Roger at this point knows that might happen if the Henry Obito get killed at this point in time. Maybe Roger knows about someone like Im. If you do this, this is what you're gonna unleash, or some shit like that. And Rox is probably just the kind of guy he's like, I don't care. No, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I think it's something like that. He probably is just doing what he wants to do. What starts the fight.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. You got anything else?
No, not really, man. That was a good discussion.
It was a solid discussion. So, for tuning in on this episode of the Wanted Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.